Hi, this is Heather with the 5 Waiting Wombs, and today I'm going to be talking about when it's time to seek medical attention when trying to conceive. For a lot of us, trying to conceive takes a lot longer than we expect. I know in my case, my husband and I expected to be pregnant within the first few months. The reason we thought this was because we had done our research. We had been practicing natural family planning from the time we got married, so we knew what signs to look for when it came to fertility. So we were really surprised when we didn't get pregnant as quickly as possible. It's important to remember that statistically, depending on what study you look at, we really only have a 20 to 25% chance of conceiving in a particular cycle. With that information, about 20-25% of couples will actually conceive within the first month of trying. By 6 months of trying, 60% of couples will have conceived. At 9 months, about 75% of couples will have conceived, and about 85% of couples will have conceived within a year. It is also important to note that by 18 months, 90% of couples will have conceived, so it does take some couples a little bit longer than a year to actually conceive. And these couples are not dealing with infertility, it takes longer for some, a small percentage, but a percentage of the population than it does others. Okay, so we have the statistics, but they don't really mean a whole lot because the question is, when do I seek medical attention? And just knowing the statistics doesn't really give you that answer. So the answer is actually not very cut and dry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually divide groups of people into various categories just to kind of make it easier to decide what category you fall into and how long you should wait before you seek medical attention. Okay, most couples fall into this first category. In this category, the female partner is under the age of 35 and she has regular menstrual periods. Regular menstrual periods can vary anywhere from 5 to 7 days from one cycle to the next, but if your cycle varies, like within a week from one cycle to the next, there's really no cause for concern and your cycles are regular. Also in this category, neither of the couple has any known fertility issues. So she has never been diagnosed with something like PCOS or any other disorder that could contribute to infertility, and he has no known genetic issues that could cause male factor, and he's never been exposed to something like radiation or chemicals that could contribute to male factor. So if you fall into this category, you will need to wait 12 months before you should seek medical attention. The reason for this is because only 10% of the population is actually affected by infertility. In most cases, conception will happen sometime within that year. It's very important to know that just because it doesn't happen in the first 6 months doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. And most doctors will not see you until it has been the 12 months because of that fact. There are also quite a few couples who fall into the second category. There are even more couples in this category now than there were just even 10 years ago. This one is exactly like the first category, except that the female partner is over the age of 35. In couples where the female is over the age of 35, it's recommended that you seek medical attention after 6 months of trying to conceive. The reason for that is because as we get older, female fertility tends to decline very rapidly. So basically what doctors want to do is they want to go ahead and begin to intervene before more and more time goes by. This final category is for couples who either have known fertility issues or who have evidence that leads them to suspect they have fertility issues. For instance, if the female partner was diagnosed with something like PCOS at, say, age 16, and now at the age of 25 is ready to start trying to conceive, but knows that she has an issue that may very likely inhibit her ability to conceive, then that couple would fall into this category. If there is a couple with the male partner who has undergone radiation and he knows that he either knows that he has a male factor or he suspects that because of that he has a male factor. If the couple, the female in the couple has been actually charting her cycles and has discovered that she is anovulatory or has really inconsistent ovulation, then that couple would fall into this category. And the truth is, at least here in the United States, you don't have to wait. Doctors aren't going to make you wait necessarily 12 months to receive treatment. If you go to your doctor and you say, we are going to start trying to conceive, I know that I have this fertility issue, I know that I'm going to need your help, and if the doctor tells you, well, you're going to have to try for 12 months before I will actually help you, then you can find a different doctor, because there are doctors out there who will help you. If you have a known fertility issue, waiting a year isn't going to correct that issue. If you have evidence, like you've been charting and you have evidence that you're not ovulating, just waiting 12 months isn't going to necessarily make you start ovulating. When coming off of birth control, it's important to keep in mind that it can take up to a year before your body starts ovulating on its own or ovulating consistently on its own. It's not the truth for absolutely everybody, but do keep in mind that the women who get pregnant while on birth control and the women who get pregnant the very first month after coming off of birth control are really exceptions to the rule. Yes, it does happen, and it may seem that it happens all the time, but really it's not that often that actually occurs. So if you stop taking birth control, immediately start trying to conceive, and it's been 4 cycles, don't panic. Don't worry. Just because you haven't conceived within 4 months after stopping birth control doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. For everybody, I recommend when you start trying to conceive to, at the very minimum, start keeping track of your cycles. You might not want to chart. Some people find charting is stressful. For me, I enjoy it. It's not at all stressful for me to roll over, take my temperature, put the thermometer down, either go back to sleep or get up and go about my day. But a lot of people don't like doing that. So at the very minimum, keep track of when your cycles are, because if you do get to the point where you need to see a physician about your potential infertility, then they're going to need that information. I'm an advocate for charting. I think that it's great. I realize that it's not for everybody. So if you do decide to chart, I think it can only help you, especially if, like me, when I went to my doctor and showed my charts, it was from my charts that he was able to actually know where to investigate as far as what my fertility issue was. I hope that this was really informative for a lot of you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next Friday.